Iran and Israel. These two nations, despite their differences, stand as pivotal players in the intricate tapestry of the Middle East. Their relationship, marked by both overt hostility and covert maneuvering, significantly influences the region's stability and future. Are two of the most influential nations in the Middle East, each wielding considerable power and projecting their influence across the region. Their actions resonate far beyond their borders, impacting global politics and security. Yet they don't share a border, separated by Iraq and Jordan. This geographical separation, however, has not diminished the intensity of their rivalry. Iran, once known as Persia, a land steeped in ancient history and cultural heritage, is a major Shia Muslim power with a unique clerical system, wielding significant influence over Shia communities worldwide, controlling key energy routes and waterways, giving it considerable leverage in global energy markets. The Strait of Hormuz, a vital artery for oil tankers, is of particular strategic importance. Israel, much smaller, was established in 1948, a relatively young nation forged in the crucible of conflict and adversity, as a homeland for the Jewish people, fulfilling a centuries-old dream of self-determination and sovereignty, and is the region's only Jewish-majority state, a beacon of Jewish culture and identity in a predominantly Muslim region. Despite its size, Israel boasts a powerful military and advanced economy, driven by innovation and technological prowess, shaped by constant security threats and complex regional relationships. These challenges have fostered a culture of resilience and self-reliance. The Middle East is a region of immense historical, religious, and economic importance, a cradle of civilization and the birthplace of major world religions, but also of deep conflict, a region scarred by decades of war, political instability, and sectarian violence. Most of the world's oil reserves are here, making it a strategic prize and a source of geopolitical competition, making stability a global concern, as disruptions in the region can have far-reaching consequences for the global economy. The Iran-Israel rivalry is a central axis in this regional struggle, a complex and multifaceted conflict with deep historical roots, shaping alliances and fueling conflicts, exacerbating existing tensions and creating new flashpoints. Because they aren't neighbors, their conflict takes on a unique character. Their conflict isn't fought with armies on a shared border, but rather through more indirect and unconventional means. Instead, it's a shadow war, a clandestine struggle waged in the shadows. Waged through proxies, intelligence operations, cyber warfare, and diplomatic maneuvering, each side seeking to gain an advantage over the other. This distance hasn't lessened the intensity. In some ways, it has amplified it, allowing for a more detached and calculated approach. It's just forced the rivalry into a complex, dangerous geopolitical chess match, where every move has consequences and the stakes are incredibly high. To truly understand the complexities of the ongoing Iran-Israel conflict, we need to delve into the concept of proxy warfare. It's a critical lens through which to view their interactions and the broader dynamics of the Middle East. You need to grasp the idea of a proxy war. It's a strategy employed by nations to exert influence and pursue their interests without engaging in direct, large-scale military clashes. In a proxy war, two powers avoid direct confrontation, choosing instead a more nuanced and often deniable approach, instead supporting third parties like rebel groups or militias to fight on their behalf. These groups become the instruments through which the larger powers project their influence. This allows them to pursue their goals without the catastrophic costs of open war. Direct military engagement can lead to devastating consequences, both economically and in terms of human lives. Proxies aren't just puppets. They have their own agendas, motivations, and local concerns that drive their actions. But support from a powerful patron like Iran can transform their capabilities, providing them with resources and expertise they wouldn't otherwise possess. Iran's network includes groups like Hezbollah in Lebanon, a powerful and well-equipped organization with significant political influence, and Hamas in Gaza, another key player in the region, who receive funding, weapons, and training, bolstering their ability to challenge Israel and advance their own objectives. Israel in turn targets these groups with airstrikes and covert operations, seeking to disrupt their activities and weaken their capabilities, seeing them as extensions of Iranian power, a direct threat to its national security and regional interests. This war between the wars is a constant campaign of attrition, a relentless cycle of attacks and counterattacks, with each side trying to degrade the other's capabilities while avoiding all-out war. It's a delicate balancing act, fraught with the risk of escalation. The battlefield isn't in Iran or Israel, the core nations involved, but in the volatile spaces in between, in countries like Lebanon, Syria, and the Gaza Strip. Proxy wars blur responsibility, making it hard to assign blame or retaliate directly, adding layers of complexity to international relations. The Iran-Israel conflict is a textbook example of this modern, indirect warfare, a complex and dangerous game played out across the Middle East. Before 1979, Iran and Israel had a quiet, pragmatic partnership. Under the Shah, Iran was pro-Western and saw Arab nationalism as a threat, aligning with Israel against common adversaries. Iran supplied oil to Israel while Israel provided technical and military expertise. The relationship was discreet, never formal recognition, but steady cooperation behind the scenes. This partnership was based on mutual benefit, not ideology. The dramatic shift came with the 1979 Iranian Revolution, which swept away decades of quiet collaboration. The current hostility isn't ancient or inevitable, it's the result of a sudden, radical political change. Former partners became the region's most implacable foes almost overnight. The 1979 Iranian Revolution was a turning point, toppling the Shah and bringing Ayatollah Khomeini's Islamic Republic to power. The new regime rejected the West and adopted fierce anti-Israel rhetoric, calling Israel an illegitimate entity and a cancerous tumor. Iran severed all ties with Israel, handing its embassy to the Palestine Liberation Organization. Hostility toward Israel became a core tenet of the new regime, used to assert leadership in the Muslim world and challenge pro-Western Arab states. Supporting the Palestinian cause helped Iran export its revolutionary ideals and rally domestic support. Direct war wasn't feasible, so Iran shifted to supporting groups that shared its anti-Israel ideology. The revolution didn't just end a relationship, it created a new axis of conflict that still shapes the region. The ideological battle lines drawn in 1979 continue to define the Iran-Israel rivalry. After 1979, Iran built a network of militant allies across the Middle East, known as the Axis of Resistance. Its most powerful proxy is Hezbollah in Lebanon, created with Iranian support and now a formidable military and political force. Hezbollah's arsenal, funded and supplied by Iran, poses a major threat to Israel from the north. Iran also backs Palestinian groups like Hamas and Islamic Jihad in Gaza, despite sectarian differences focusing on their shared goal, Israel's destruction. This creates a two-front threat for Israel, Hezbollah in the north, Hamas in the south. Iran's influence extends to Syria, where it supports Assad's regime, and to Shia militias in Iraq and the Houthis in Yemen. This network lets Iran project power, surround Israel, and wage asymmetric warfare. The axis of resistance is central to Iran's long-term strategy against Israel and its allies. Israel's answer to Iran's growing proxy network is a strategy called the war between the wars, a continuous campaign to degrade Iranian and proxy capabilities. The main battleground is Syria, where Israel conducts frequent airstrikes on Iranian and Hezbollah targets to prevent military entrenchment. These strikes target weapons convoys, bases, and infrastructure, aiming to disrupt Iran's supply lines to Hezbollah. The campaign is risky. Each strike could trigger retaliation and wider conflict, but both sides usually try to keep clashes contained. Israel also uses intelligence, cyber attacks, and covert operations, including assassinations and sabotage of Iran's nuclear program. The infamous Stuxnet cyber attack is a prime example of this shadow war. Israel's approach is a delicate balancing act. Contain Iran's influence without provoking all-out war. This ongoing struggle defines the region's security landscape. The Iran-Israel proxy war has erupted into open conflict in Lebanon, Gaza, and Syria, each a different front in the broader struggle. The 2006 Lebanon war showed Hezbollah's resilience and Iran's ability to challenge Israel through proxies. Since then, Hezbollah has rebuilt its arsenal, now threatening all of Israel with precision-guided missiles. In Gaza, Iran-backed Hamas has fought multiple wars with Israel, using Iranian technology and funding to launch rocket attacks. Each conflict brings heavy civilian tolls and deepens the cycle of violence. Syria is now the most active front, with Iran using the civil war to entrench itself and supply Hezbollah. Israel responds with relentless airstrikes to prevent Iranian military buildup near its borders. Syria has become a direct, undeclared battlefield between Israeli and Iranian forces. The risk of major escalation is ever present. The complex and volatile Iran-Israel conflict is deeply shaped and significantly influenced by the ongoing involvement of the United States. This involvement manifests in various forms, impacting the dynamics of the region. The U.S. stands as Israel's most steadfast and closest ally, consistently providing billions of dollars in crucial military aid. This aid includes the provision of advanced weaponry and cutting-edge military technology, solidifying Israel's defense capabilities. This support is aimed at ensuring Israel maintains a qualitative military edge in the region, allowing it to effectively deter potential threats and safeguard its security interests. Beyond military assistance, Washington also offers crucial diplomatic support to Israel on the international stage, often shielding Israel from criticism and adverse resolutions at the United Nations and other global forums. U.S. foreign policy views Israel's security as a fundamental cornerstone for maintaining stability and promoting its broader interests in the complex and strategically vital Middle East region. Consequently, any perceived threat to Israel's existence or well-being is viewed as a direct challenge to American interests and strategic objectives in the region and beyond. The U.S. shares and strongly echoes Israel's deep-seated concerns regarding Iran's nuclear ambitions, its pursuit of nuclear weapons capabilities, and its destabilizing regional activities. In response, the U.S. has implemented a policy of imposing tough economic sanctions on Iran and has taken the significant step of designating Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps (IRGC) as a foreign terrorist organization. Furthermore, the presence of American military bases and personnel strategically positioned throughout the Middle East serves as a tangible check on Iranian power and influence in the region. The U.S. has historically led international efforts aimed at limiting the scope and development of Iran's nuclear program through diplomatic negotiations and international agreements. This culminated in the negotiation and implementation of the 2015 nuclear deal, formerly known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA, an agreement which Israel strongly and vocally opposed. However, the subsequent 2018 U.S. withdrawal from the JCPOA under the Trump administration and the reimposition of stringent sanctions on Iran significantly increased tensions in the region. This withdrawal led to a series of escalating incidents, including attacks on international shipping in the Persian Gulf and more direct confrontations between the U.S. and Iranian forces. The U.S. assassination of Iranian General Qasem Soleimani in Baghdad in 2020, a key figure in the IRGC, brought the two nations perilously close to the brink of a major and potentially devastating armed conflict. Therefore, U.S. actions and policies in the region have a direct and profound impact on the delicate regional balance of power. Ultimately, this intertwines the complexities of the Iran-Israel conflict with the broader dynamics of global power politics and international relations in the Middle East. The Iran-Israel conflict, once a shadow war, has shifted toward more direct confrontation in recent years. Maritime attacks on commercial vessels and direct missile exchanges have blurred the lines between proxy and open war. The most dramatic escalation came in 2024, when Iran launched over 300 drones and missiles at Israel in retaliation for an Israeli strike in Damascus. This unprecedented attack shattered the taboo of direct state-on-state conflict. Israel responded with a limited strike inside Iran, showing its reach and resolve. The rivalry has evolved from quiet partnership to bitter ideological enmity, waged through proxies and now direct attacks. This conflict is a central driver of instability in the Middle East, with the potential to draw in global powers and disrupt energy supplies. The future is uncertain as both nations navigate a dangerous path between deterrence and all-out war. Understanding this evolving conflict is essential to grasping the stakes for the region and the world.